Jinhua Ma getting ready for the start, adjusting all the settings on the steering as he sets the car ready for race 19 of the World Touring Car Championship here in China. He starts on the outside front row of the grid to your left. On the right, as you look at Jose Maria Lopez, the pole man, the grid is set and we are ready to go racing here in China. Red lights on the cars. Green flag flies, and now we're into the final start procedure. 5 red lights are on, and away we go. Very short change. Slow getaway, very slow getaway from Katzberg, but not as slow as Vallant or Ma, both of whom failed to move at all. Lopez weaves a couple of times across the track. Muller and Loeb, and then Tarquini with Huff inside him. And Vallant, well, at least there's no damage to his car in the first turn, because race 2's what counts for him. Tom Chilton, however, got involved in somebody else's incident. Coronel has been damaged, Montero's been damaged. Facing the wrong way, Thiago Montero, that's John Philippi, I think, as well, facing the wrong way. Mehdi Benani was there, and Huff's car, broken left rear track, and that was after that contact when it was his nose that was inside Tarquini. So carnage. Are we going to see the safety car out? Well, whatever we're going to see, Huff won't be part of it for long. We are going to see the safety car out. So there was some fairly severe biffing going on in the middle of the pack there.
Yeah, we saw them go into turn 2 with a bit of bumping, but must have all happened in turn 3 where we couldn't see. Shame for Coronel, because he's got to get that car back. Hopefully they take it back to pits for them to try and repair, ready for race 2.
Well, unfortunately, it's not going to be an easy job. You can see the suspension tower has been torn out of the body. I think he might be done for the day. That's not going to fix easily, is it? I'm afraid Roberto Ravaglia has not chosen a good race to come to the races at Rohout. There's debris everywhere. Safety car's going to be out for at least a couple of laps. Huffy, again, race 2 will now have to be his focus, because he won't be back out in race 1. If he is, it'll just be for a little bit of a circumspect lap. Ma right down there at the back, behind de Moustier and Daste. Couldn't be worse for the Chinese driver. Could be, he could be in Coronel's position, but Chilton coming in with damage. Thought Benani looked like he was involved, but in fact his car seems to be okay.
It's a Citroen.
Yes, yes, built tough. Katzberg in 4th place despite that shocking start, and Chilton is into the pits, as you would expect. Now, the issue for our crew on site is that we have a Chinese TV crew, Chinese tape operators, and a Chinese director, all of whom speak, you guessed it, Chinese. So we now have to try and work through the language barrier to find the replays, as well as get the live shots to you. It's not necessarily the work of a moment. They are experienced in doing what they do. The universal hand across the throat there from the team. That's it, race 1 is over from Tom.
So he had a good view from the back, but not good enough to miss the carnage going on in front of him, unfortunately.
Well, it can go one of 2 ways, can't it? They can already be out sweeping it up by the time you get to the accident in the first couple of corners, or the accident can come to you. And for Coronel and for Chilton and for Tarquini, the accident came to them. Well, Gabrielli, he had that little bump with Rob, didn't he, in the first corner? Okay, so here we go. Disastrous start for Ma, shocker for Vallant, really dreadful for Katzberg as well. John Philippi, where did he come from? Okay, so Huff's yellow Lada, watch him inside Tarquini. Now Philippi, is there contact there? No, so behind Chilton, watch the green, the red and black car. Okay, so Coronel gets into the back of, well, Philippi's turned around.
It was
Where's Coronel's damage?
Coronel turned Philippi round, which...
Tarquini did hit Huff. Tarquini did break Huff's Lada. That's why Tarquini's backing, so it looks like his car's not that fixed either. We're too far back here. Norby on the left. Philippi gets turned around, and it's contact with Philippi's car as he is being spun. That breaks Coronel's car comprehensively.
From my view, it looks more like Coronel was the instigator of his own accident as well.
I don't know, because he was getting shunted from behind by Benani, and Coronel was into the back of Benani's car as well. Maybe it was because everybody was trying to avoid the slow Huff and Tarquini. when everybody's jinking for position, that's often when cars hit each other. Okay, so here we go. We're on board with Tom Chilton, looking in front. Filippi goes around the nose of Coronel and Bernani. And I think it's, yeah, Filippi's trying to come over from the outside and come back in, and may not have judged the distance to Coronel. Coronel is then getting hit from behind by Bernani.
Yeah, maybe it was Bernani hitting Coronel that was the push round for Filippi.
Standing here with Rob Huff. Rob, looking at the TV pictures there, what on earth happened with you and Gabriele?
I don't know. I can't seem to see or find out what's happened, but all I know is that Tarquini was hitting me and hitting me and hitting me, and yeah, he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing until he broke both of our cars. So that was quite clever. I don't know whether he was being pushed from behind, but when I looked in my mirror, when he was in the side of me, there was no one there, so I can only assume it was him on his own.
And these days, you can't be touching like this in touring cars. They're too fragile, the cars.
We've both been in this championship for 11 years. You would have thought you might have learned by now.
Thank you.
Well, I imagine down at the Castrol Honda garage there'll be a very different view of that. However, it was ever thus. I think Filippi on the outside, trying to find a way back onto the racing line, and Coronel on the inside, trying to find a way out of trouble. See, watch the hands. Yeah, Filippi comes over on the nose of Coronel's car. That's always going to spin him, and I think that's why Filippi ended up facing the wrong way. And then, yeah, Tom trying to get out of it. Bernani behind him, the whole train behind, pushing him on into that accident.
An absolutely disastrous start for this gentleman here. Tom, talk us through it. What happened?
Well, it was not a disastrous start, it was a super start. But somehow I got in a lot of trouble. Tarquini ran wide in the first corner, Filippi ran wide, so I was on the inside. Filippi came to the inside, so I braked, big time even. I think also somebody hit me in the back. And then I touched very gently to Filippi, and then Filippi hit me back again on my right rear. And I was on three wheels.
Damage to your car?
Yeah, big damage, really big. I had a super start, everything feeling great. Car was feeling great. Mamma mia. Not good, not good.
Thanks, Tom.
That was a tough break for everybody. And as ever, tends to be 2 into 1 doesn't go. Well, they're doing quite a good job of further damaging the Royal Motorsport car here. Dragging the wreckage away over itself. And you see Filippi. I genuinely, I think Filippi had misjudged where Coronel was and thought it was okay. He was going to find room when he came back in to his right. And then, unfortunately, as Tom says, it was a little touch with Filippi. It was Filippi spun. Coronel very nearly got away with that. But he was being pushed from behind by basically the whole of the rest of the queue as they all checked up into the back of him and each other. And that's where some of the other damage has come from as well.
So this is good news for Norby's independent championship with Chilton out. That will extend his lead further.
Tarquini in the pits. And De Braquelaire from the Honda team on the left-hand side. Well, let's hear from Gabriele about his incident with Coronel.
Well, we just spoke to Rob Huff, and he had contact with Gabriele Tarquini. Gabriele, Rob says he doesn't understand why you just kept hitting him.
No, I didn't. I mean, the suspension broke because we were side by side. Maybe I was a little bit too aggressive on the change of direction because I come from outside. But I mean, it's, the suspension broke because we were side by side, not because I pushed him.
How frustrating is it now that after 11 years in touring cars, the cars are so fragile when you touch?
No, I mean, it's fragile like before. I mean, it's not, the suspension is more or less fragile like the TC2 or the old wtcc. It's not, aerodynamics is different, but it's not the aerodynamics part.
A frustration for you because you had a good starting position for Honda.
Yeah, I mean, I took a really good start despite the car in front of me in my line was stopped in the grid. It was very dangerous, but I saw in the very last minute, so I went completely outside, but I took a really good start.
Congratulations. Hope we can get to see you in race 2.
Okay, thank you.
That's a new one on me. I didn't realise that cars broke by being side by side. Bit fell off somebody's car. Was that off the back of the larder that we saw damaged of Katzberg? Safety car has added 2 laps to the race distance. That's the maximum we can add.
Weekend for Royal Motorsport, because we've got this gentleman here as well. Tom, from your opinion, what happened?
Well, got a great start, did a couple of cars off the line, up the inside as anyone does, and we're 2 by 2 around that corner because people try and get the outside of the inside of the next corner, and I couldn't see anything. All I know, it was within a thousandth of a second of red lights coming up. Everyone was sideways, locked up. There was a big crash in front, which I had to avoid. They spun Felipe and the other Chevrolet. I just managed to miss him, but the contact from behind with Bernani has damaged my front end so severely. I've got no water, my radiator or no oil in my oil coolant. So it's too much effort. It's not too much effort. It takes too much time to replace for race 2, which is very frustrating because I think we had a very good car for the race.
Really disappointing, Julie.
So Royal Motorsport will now start packing the cars away, or at least fixing them, ready to be packed away for air freight to the final 2 race weekends in Thailand. November the 1st, we'll be racing at the track at Buriram, and then off to Qatar at the end of the month. So a very low-key day, I'm afraid, for Royal Motorsport.
I wonder if Tom's wishing his alarm didn't ever go off and he never got that wake-up call.
Yes, it's all right. It's a horrid bad dream, and when I wake up, it'll be time to go off and do qualifying. Unfortunately, not so. So Lopez with Muller behind him and Loeb third. That's your top 3 in the championship, your top 3 in the race. Katzberg, Bernani and Nico Lapierre. And there is Rob Huff's car. Well, bit of gaffer on the door. My famous quote, if you can't fix it with gaffer and a hammer, it really is broken. So it's obviously not that broken, but it's that left rear suspension that they'll be worrying about. Gabrielli's presumably right suspension, although he didn't tell us what did break on the car when he was only running side by side with Rob.
It just fell apart, you know, was running side by side.
Yeah. At least he hasn't got a GP2 engine. Oops! On board with Hugo Vallant. And how much has he dodged the bullet on that one? You know, carnage going on around. All right, he's last. However, no marks, no scuffs on his car, and he will start race 2 on pole position. And I'm assuming on his own, because Coronel.
Did I see the safety car lights out?
Well, we should have seen them all the way down the straight. So here we go. We are going green again.
It was a late call by a safety car.
Shouldn't have been. Lights should have been out as they came onto the straight. Should have been out at the end of sector 2. So that was a handling error there somewhere. Lopez from Muller and Loeb, Katzberg, then red, white and green Bernani, and then the other yellow car, which is Nico Lapierre. Behind him, Norbert Mikulich in 7th position. Will be the second of the Yokohama Independents, because the lead independent at the moment is Bernani. That's good news for the Moroccan driver. He's trying to chase him down. Chilton second in the Yokohama Trophy behind Norby, but Bernani is in 3rd place, just 3 points behind Chilton. There will be a change there. So 6 laps in, Jose Maria Lopez now gets the race underway properly.
Where performance matters.
The FIA wtcc, brought to you by Oscaro.com, online genuine auto spare parts.
Lopez down the back straight, sort of back straight, not the longest one, but on board with Nick Katzberg in 4th place.
Hopefully we'll get to stay on board as we cut away.
Not
I
a
just wanted to see straight line speeders. They were really quick in sector 3.
Yes, they were, weren't they? And Katzberg very quick. He was almost the quickest of all in sector 3. This long straight, basically, from here is sector 3 all the way to the end of the lap. And he's sort of slipstream now from the 3 Citroens in front. The question is, does he feel confident enough? He is closing in. He's just been hoovered up a tiny bit. Does he feel confident enough to try out braking Sebastian Loeb? Huff and Tarquini having a conversation as there is a race going on elsewhere, apparently. Oh yes, there it is. They haven't stopped it yet. Genuine affection between the drivers. However, there is actually a race going on as well, so we'll try and cover that for you. Bonani didn't gain any ground on Katzberg. And it's hard to imagine how Nicky Katzberg is going to get among the 3 Citroens and still survive.
Be interesting to see what ground Mark can make up after his poor start or non-start.
Yes. Well, again, at least he didn't get caught up in the carnage. Up the inside comes Vallant, goes by Montero and cuts from right to left. Basically takes the racing line between the apexes, and I'm not sure where Montero vanished to there. I thought he was going to be a little bit alongside, but clearly he got it all wrong into the first turn. Vallant had plenty of space to get through between 2 and 3. I suppose once Vallant was down the inside in turn 2, Montero had nowhere really to defend, did he?
No, it is for last place, but it's nice to see they're racing all the way through. And Hugo must be really kicking himself for that start. But as you say, at least he's still got the car in one piece.
And at least he's still got pole for race 2. So that was going to be the focus, wasn't it? Always, when he got that P10 in qualifying this morning, it was always going to be more about race 2 than race 1. Race 1, do what you can and pick up no damage. Race 2, start on pole.
Bonani past Katzberg.
Don't know. Let's have a look here at the Chevy turning inside the Honda. Saw that view there, and look at that. That's as close as you like. I have a feeling that Montero must have given him the room there, knowing that otherwise the option was he'd be sitting at the side of the track with broken suspension as well. Lopez Muller-Loeb. That's just going to serve to extend the championship out a little further. Katzberg still 4th. Bonani, though, steaming down the straight behind him. So Katzberg coming onto the straight, just sort of in the middle of the road rather than moving straight across the racing line, just to try and contain Bonani's Citroen a little.
Yeah, just to take his thought away of actually trying anything.
Nico Lapierre in 6th position, not part of this battle. You can see him just behind the red, white and green Citroen. However, the second Lada driver will pick up any pieces that fall from this particular table. Katzberg getting his head down and charging now. And that's the way really for him to shake off Bonani, or to try and shake off Bonani, is to ignore the green, white and red one behind and concentrate on the white and red and grey Citroen in front of him. All he said is to be trying to attack the driver in front and trying to defend against the one behind. Mar got to show de Moustier. He's lining up nicely behind the young Belgian. So, the Craft Bamboo car comes out of turn 13 onto the straight. Does this feel as long as it looks when you're on the straight like this length?
You have a lot of time to think, yes, yeah, you really do. It's good to put just offline where Mar's probably going to go very soon is a lot of pickup, and you end up with a lot of vibration for a few laps, so doesn't lose too much of the inside, which is good.
Sends it down the inside, picks up the place.
And a bit of vibration from lockup now,
yeah.
Pickup.
So he goes by Grégoire de Moustier for 8th position. Of course, he will start almost last of the Citroens in race 2. So in reverse order on the grid, which means 10th place or thereabouts will be Lopez, depending on who among the damaged cars makes it back out. We know Coronel won't, and he's supposed to be on the front row of the grid. We know Chilton won't, but he was outside the top 10, so that won't have so much an effect. Huff probably will. Tarquini, I think so. Looked like it was more of a football injury than a rugby injury on his car.
Didn't look so bad, so I think he'll be okay.
Maybe the Pride was a little bit more damaged than the car itself. Lopez is gone now, and it's Muller versus Loeb for the best of the Frenchmen. Still no word from Citroën on what future they will pursue, World Rally or World Touring Cars. Yves Maton was saying in the middle of the season that they probably had to choose one or the other. I have a feeling that at the moment there'll be an awful lot of car manufacturers that are just sitting very quietly, waiting to see exactly what happens with diesel emissions testing and how far that knocks on before they find out whether they've got any money to spend on anything. Tony Montero's got by Stefano D'Aste, so the battle for the honour of not being last continues. Was the last car on the track, and now, yeah, Valente past de Moustier. Moustier right in the middle of the road, making his compatriot work hard for that, and there was a little bump between them. Tom Coronel was saying that with all the added aero on the car now being so much a part of the car's performance, if you make contact and damage it, de Moustier into the pits, by the way, then it's A, easy to do, B, expensive to fix, and C, ruins the car and ruins your race. You can't just buckle a wing a little bit. Nico Lapierre carrying LMP2 style speed into turn 1 and 2, finding out that Bellada wasn't quite born with the aero that the P2 car is.
Lopez was 7 tenths quicker on that last lap.
Oh, blimey.
Van's still got low pushing him, so maybe it's he's concentrating more on Loeb than he is Lopez.
Knock up from Benani on his own ahead of this little battle as well. That's always good as well. Even when you're Lapierre trying to hold off Mikulits, if the guy in front on his own is making mistakes and locking up and you can smell his brake smoke, then, or his tyre, then you're always eager to go ahead and attack. Tarquini's car is ready for some investigatory perambulations.
Check laps.
Yep. Go out, make sure nothing falls off. Try not to run side by side with anybody, Gabrielli. Stefano D'Aste getting left way out the back of the pack here. No upgrades on his car. I'm afraid his budget makes his shoestring look quite healthy, so no engine upgrades, no aero upgrades, no suspension upgrades for him. Boggles as it was at the beginning of the season, probably as it was at the beginning of last season.
Marc has his next 2 targets in place.
Yes, doesn't he? And making short work of de Moustier under braking. Not sure those tyres are going to be much good for anything else after the end of the race, but they will have done their job by that stage.
He's done that 2 laps in a row. He could do with a check of the balance, but he's still working.
Interesting there from the onboard, you saw that he was in fact using either his own or somebody else's black marks down into there. So the more he outbrakes other people there, the more he cleans it up for himself. A little bit like Schumacher used to do, running offline to surreptitiously clean up the bit of track he was planning to use to pass somebody later on in a race. Nico Lapierre still hanging on to 6th position, ahead of Morby and Ma. Seems to be a little bit held by the curbing there, mid-corner. And you can hear even the Citroën drivers not been able to really go after the throttle because the torque of the engine is just going to create too much understeer.
The FIA WTCC is brought to you by JVC Kenwood.
Jose Maria Lopez, our race leader here in Shanghai, on lap 11 of 16. On board with Hungary's Norbert Mikulis, chasing Nico Lapierre. Towards the 68 of Armola and 9 Sebastian Loeb, and trying to leapfrog down the queue is Martin Qua. However, as soon as he pulled out, Norbert Mikulis in front of him was already trying to get by Nico Lapierre. There was nowhere to go there. Mar tucked back in to wait another lap. once you get into this final element of the track, from here on in, almost until you get out of turn 10, it's not really anywhere you can get by, although Hugo Vallant would argue that.
Yeah, it's quite easy to force somebody into a mistake into turn 1, 2 and 3, so just showing sometimes can force that.
And Mar, sorry, got in very hot behind Norby there. I thought he was going to run into the back of Michaelis's Honda.
I think he thought the same.
However, you can see how much turning and traction the Citroen has got there, all over the back of the Honda in the twisty stuff. Ooh, and he's round the outside of Lapierre. Norby's sticking his nose in and trying to stay there. Long right-hander means that he was out of luck. To come out of turn 10 and onto the short back straight, Lapierre remains in 6th position. And whatever he doesn't know about a front-wheel drive touring car, Lapierre does know a little bit about racing. Oh, and Mar again.
Really struggling with brakes.
Yeah, or distance, or something. Oh, dear. Downshift. Yeah, that's why it wasn't slowing down, because it's not changing down the gears, and without engine braking, part of your retardation is left.
Clutch, yeah.
And that might explain why he didn't start well. And this is as near to Norby, probably, as it was in the first turn a lap ago as well. At the beginning of the lap, wasn't it? It was this lap. So, had that clutch problem with his car in the Slovakia ring. Citroen said, yes, it's all fixed, it'll be fine. He was starting on the front row of the grid, second row of the grid, 4th place, I think, on the race 2 grid. Of course, it wasn't fine, he didn't move at all, and it was nearly a massive pile-up.
So he could have burnt out his clutch on the start, and it's just shattered now.
Yeah.
But it gives Norby a clear track behind now to focus on making up a position.
Yeah, and that moves Hugo Vallant and Thiago Monteiro up the order. That now puts them into 8th and 9th. 9th, not something that Thiago was probably thinking about when he was back in 16th. Stationary rear wheel there of Vallant's car as it picks up in the corner. And transferring to the front of the car, just as it does in every other road car, every other racing car as well. Damage the back of Lapierre's car.
You saw it fall off in under the safety car, but
I imagine it was somewhere in the corner 2-3 biffing. Got a little touch from somebody. Mar in the pits, and I'm not sure that that's going to play very well.
They're rally boys, so if anybody can do it, these guys can.
See now, if that had happened at the first start and they'd had 16 laps plus safety car time to fix it, possibly, now they've got 3 laps and then it's into Parc Fermé, or he's at the back of the grid for race 2. I think if they get him to the back of the grid for race 2, they'll have done a stunning job, unless it's a very simple electrical fix in some way, and I don't see that being the case with the clutch.
It didn't sound electrical, did it?
No. No, I'm not sure what electrical system that you use for activating a clutch could disengage it the way a broken clutch sounds disengaged. I don't think you need to go very far to guess what he's thinking. I think he's thinking that is the end of his weekend racing in China. Very happy on Friday and Saturday, faster than anybody else, including his illustrious teammates. Sunday, not quite as thrilled to lose out on pole to Jose Maria Lopez. However, like Tom Chilton and Tom Coronel's day, it's taken a severe nosedive since qualifying. Thiago Monteiro still pushing on behind Hugo Vallant. He's race better than Mike.
His car does look better than Hugo's at the moment. He's able to turn in tighter and...
now again you see Thiago with work to do and Valente with work to do in race 2 might have different tyre combinations on the car. Hugo might have just kept the very best he's possibly got for race 2 and made the best of what's left for race 1, because frankly race 1 was a bit of a throwaway anyway. 10th on the grid, okay, you know, any positions you can make up are always welcome, but you're going to try and stack the deck for race 2, aren't you? Thiago down the inside.
You've seen it?
Yeah. Absolutely very straightforward, then bumps over the curb at the apex and costs himself about half of the advantage he gained under braking. Katzberg not going to catch Loeb. That was evident from about, well, lap 6 or 7 when we started racing. But, pulling away from Bernardi all the way. Bernardi the lead independent. Norbert Mikulits there in 2nd in the independents. And Hugo Valente here in 3rd in the independents. Thiago got by the Chevrolet, but it's to really escape him. Stefano D'Aste is the Lanterne Rouge at the moment at the back of the pack. However, unlike the 3rd of the field, he is still going. Marr is out, de Moustier is out, Tarquini is out, Huff is out, Tom Chilton is out, John Philippi is out, Tom Coronel is out. One retirement from the Japanese Grand Prix, and yet the ostensibly more sensible and reliable touring car races, almost half the field has gone out. Only one was, I don't know what was de Moustier's problem, do we? But certainly, as far as we're aware, only Mars was mechanical.
Yeah, Hugo passed him, didn't he? And on the exit they touched, so I don't know whether it was a front track, but it wasn't a big touch.
Well, he got a clout off Coronel when he was being spun.
Yep.
And then a clout off Coronel that took the back off Coronel's car. So whether there's a legacy in there remains to be seen. On lap 15 of 16, Jose Maria Lopez. He's out and clear. The battle behind, Ivar Muller holding off Sebastian Loeb. Not sure that Loeb's given anything up yet. Last lap for Lopez and for Muller and Loeb. Katzberg, the yellow larder, in 4th place ahead of Mehdi Benani. Benani, the top independent in the Sebastian Loeb Racing Run Citroën. And then Nico Lapierre holding off Norbert Mikulis. This is really what Lapierre needs to get to learn the car, isn't it? Plenty of time out on track.
Yeah, he's been pressured the whole way around. He's not giving in like some of the other guys. He's a world-class driver, so he knows what he's doing, but it's never easy in a front-wheel drive car with tyres disappearing away from you very quickly.
And that pesky Hungarian right behind. Norby is very insistent. I'm sure he feels he's got the car to get by. He's just got to somehow engineer the opportunity. And Lapierre may not know the car, but he knows what he's doing around here. Winner here in 2006 in A1GP for Team France. I reckon that by the end of these 2 races, he will feel he's probably worked as hard around here in a touring car as he did in an A1GP car. Physically, it might be a little bit less demanding in terms of G-forces and so on. But at least in those days, A1GP, big fast single-seaters was what he knew. This is very definitely not what he knows.
This isn't the noise of Lopez's car.
No, it's not. Lopez comes out of the final corner and the checkered flag waits, and it is victory for Jose Maria Lopez as he wins in Shanghai a Citroën 1-2-3. Great result for Nick Katzberg, 4th position. I'm sure that's his best result, and Norby gets by Lapierre at the hairpin last time round. So Benani in 5th, Mikulis in 6th position, Lapierre 7th. And Thiago Montero, Hugo Valente and Stefano D'Aste will be the final finishers Marco Calovolo writing down whatever the Italian for is. Damn, he got us in the final hairpin. But a good race from Nico Lapierre, good race from Jose Maria Lopez, as you'd expect from pole position. From his 5th pole of the season, he adds his 8th race win. So 8 wins for Lopez, 4 so far for Muller, 3 for Loeb, 2 for Montero, and 1 apiece for Mar and Michaelis. "19 races in the championship, and Lopez with 8 victories so far. Little string of results where he wasn't on the top step of the podium for 6 consecutive races. Could have put him off, didn't. As Coronel's car comes back in to be packed up, ready to go to Thailand.